thought Ajahn Kovilo's reflection yesterday was really beautiful. And I referenced this image at the Pacific Hermitage last weekend, but it's still very alive for me here especially, because the sense of quiet at the monastery for me, it's stillness, but it's also furnace. And there's a sutta called the gold washer, where the Buddha says the gold washer would take gold and washing it again and again, wash out the dirt, the gravel and grit. Having done that, he would take the washed gold and wash out the sand. Having done that, he would wash out just what was left, the fine black dust. And then heating that gold again and again, having placed it in a crucible, it would become malleable and bright, and he could make it into anything he wished. Even so, a bhikkhu, a practitioner intent on heightened mind, cleanses the mind of unwholesome bodily acts. This is the gravel. Having done so, a bhikkhu intent on heightened minds cleanses the mind of unwholesome intentions, the intention towards sensuality, ill will, cruelty. Having done so, he lets go, eliminates even the subtlest defilements, thoughts of one's home, thoughts of one's, the Pali is vana, caste, so occupation or family, or it literally means color, so I like to think in terms of blue and red as well, and thoughts of not wanting to be despised. And the mind becomes bright and malleable and wieldy. And what I find so relevant there is the sense of the washing as the washer sifts, using kind of this tray is how they often did it. You know, you'll see, remember those images of gold panners. The coarse elements remain on the surface, and as the gold is dropping down, and so often at the monastery, I feel that's at least a large part of what you initially see. It's like poison being sucked out of the vein when I'm here, just seeing all the machinations and writhings of the mind around, moving into a new space, people, social dynamics, comparisons, echoes, or other things. And we all have this experience of the monastery. It's not just quiet, it's what you're left looking at much of the time is that first noble truth, and the second, dukkha and craving. And just having compassion for that process, and to see that kind of those darker elements being brought to the surface out of the gold. And so often that can be what we see in our experience day to day is Ajahn Master Hua said to Ajahn Amaro in a nimitta he had, bright, loud, and mobile is the false, subtle and indistinct is the true. And so often when those defilements come up, the imperfections in speech, the slight, harsh speech, the rushed way, the barb, it's what we can fixate on and remember as the quintessential element of our experience, and even judge our experience or our progress based on that. And what we forget is that if you stop and lower your awareness into the chest, often what you'll find waiting for you is, if you've been at the monastery enough, this sort of glow of merit, of boon, punya, and it's gold. It's this subtle flavor or color of metta that's waiting, and it crescendos and gathers momentum as you stay at the monastery, as things become cleansed. And it's so important to come back to that and see it. And how much of our task here is to, as things come up and fall, to not act on those poisons being sucked from the vein, from the acorns spilling out of the wall, from the impurities rising to the surface. The fact that they take up so much of our consciousness sometimes is not a sign that what we're doing here is not right. It's the sign that we're being cleansed. And so yes, this spacious, beautiful, quiet valley is a refuge, and it's a bellows, it's a furnace, it's a crucible. And to allow ourselves to be heated, in that sense, purified, even as we cool. And to know that whenever things are hard, just to recollect that every condition we're putting in right now is wholesome. This is a wholesome place. There are almost no negative conditions moving into our experience right now. This is all old karma. The impurities you're seeing are old echoes. They had to be, you'd have to confront them in some way, shape, or form at some time, and to watch them burn away until all that's left is gold. I'm not sure how to tie that back into the acorns. But I find it's very humbling. I think the third and the fourth noble truths are a spiral staircase up towards awakening and transcendence, and the first and second are the spiral staircase down towards humility. And to just, when you're going through those periods of time at the monastery that are difficult, just to watch yourself be humbled by that and come back into that space. So deeply grateful to be back here with my brothers, with so many good people. Ajahn Kovi and I are, delighted to be up in Seattle, but to come back where things are pure and we get to see the impurities sucked out again is quite a blessing as well. So thank you to all our brothers here and family.